Christine is located in Marina del Rey and is over 100 feet long with a draft of 13 feet and a beam of 23 feet. The hull was fabricated from 1/8 inch thick cedar laminates, with each layer being epoxy glued 90 degrees to each other, which creates a structure that is continuous and seamless. She holds 700 gallons of fuel, 200 gallons of water, and a 100-gallon holding tank. The mast is 130 feet above the waterline. The boom has a fixed clew and will move hydraulically away from the mast in order to flatten the main. All the instruments are visible by the helmsman while still providing an excellent view of the action taking place on the deck. As we get ready to go down into the interior of Christine, I want to point out that she has 4 primary Barrett grinder drums that are interconnected by these 3 pedestals. Also strategically placed around the deck are 9 other winches. Now let's go down below and see the beautiful interior. The first place I would like to start the tour is in the stern of the boat. The stern is accessible through a hallway located directly behind the nav station. The area provides easy access to the rudder, shaft, housing, and quadrant. As you can see, the shaft housing is fully supported with 8 major braces that are attached to the hull. This approach ensures that the rudder, shaft, and quadrant continue functioning under all conditions of sail and power. Also, easily accessible is a fully loaded cabinet of fasteners that may be needed on the boat from time to time. Now let's move back down the hallway to the navigation station, where we will find many gauges telling us how well Christine is performing. The gauges range from the status of the batteries to how much fuel per hour the engine is burning. Christine's navigation station includes a Data Marine offshore electronics package that is hardwired to a Swiss GPS computer. Also, as part of the navigation system is the latest high-speed Dell computer with a 17-inch flat-screen high-resolution monitor. All of the electronics talk to each other using NEMA 0183 interfaces. You can see the navigation area has its own bunk and a large navigation chart table. On the bulkhead behind the chart table are the instruments that display the important information needed to safely navigate the Christine. As part of the navigation area are the water-maker pressure gauges and the switches used to control the Marine Tech water maker. Next to the water maker's control panel is a beautifully crafted set of small lockers. They provide the navigation area with a place to store and organize all of those tools and those miscellaneous things that seem to collect on any boat. Before we go to the owner's cabin, I would like to take a moment to point out a hatch that leads directly to the helmsman's station from the navigation area. In this way, the navigation person is always in close contact with the helmsman. In entering the master stateroom, the first thing that you can see is a spacious, well-appointed hanging locker with plenty of drawers and a walk-in space to access that hanging locker. And in looking around the master stateroom, there is a flat screen TV and a CD with surround sound speakers. Also there is an oversized queen bed. There is a master head with a full-size enclosed shower. Also, there are 2 additional heads located throughout the boat and another large enclosed shower forward next to the mast. In leaving the master cabin, we can head into the galley area. And the first thing to notice is the strategically placed horizontal freezer. Besides providing fresh food, it acts as a barrier to keep the cook in the kitchen area during rough seas and healing. The galley has 3 stainless steel sinks and a GE upright refrigerator. Included at the end of the freezer is a trash compactor. I'd like to take a moment and show you just how much room is in the freezer. And really, it has 2 large holding plates to ensure that what is frozen stays frozen. Also, a feature that provides full access to all the stored food and dishes are the sliding shelves. The shelves have locks on them to hold them in place until they're needed, but when they are needed, then at a touch of a hand they slide out and provide full access to all the contents that are on them. By the way, I thought this would be a good time to see how well appointed under the galley deck is. What you see here is an example of how well the Christine has been kept and how much attention to detail was employed in its construction and maintenance. Looking from the galley area, we can see a functional dining area which is large enough to hold guests and crew. By the way, there's a music system and flat screen TV for entertainment. From the dining area, it can be seen 2 fore and aft gangways where each of the 17 bunks are located. And as you will see later, some of the bunks could hold 2 persons if the need arises. Located in each of the hallways is one of the heads I mentioned earlier. Each head contains small individual guest lockers. All of the bunks, and I mean all of the bunks, are accessible and quite comfortable. Located in the midsection area is a line handling locker for all of the spare lines that are on the boat. This locker is on both the port side and the starboard side. From there we enter the forward bunk area, and this is the entrance to a fully accessible sail locker. The sail locker, as you see here, is fully lined and varnished, and all of this is in order to make sail handling efficient, smooth, and fast. The sails, by the way, to drive Christine were made by line guard sailmakers in New Zealand, and they consist of a 2-ply Mylar fully battened main, a number 1 Mylar Genoa, a number 3 2-ply Mylar Genoa, a 165 Mylar Reacher, a 110 nylon asymmetric spinnaker, a Mylar Tomboy, and a Mylar Staysail to go with the Reacher. As a side note, by the way, the owner purchased from the Japanese American Cup Syndicate 10 other assorted spinnakers, a blast reacher, and other mainsails and Genoas. And by the way, some of these sails were hardly used by the syndicate. Leaving this sail area using the starboard entrance, as you can see, we are in the starboard forward bunk area. And we are going down the gangway. We are able to view the starboard bunk areas, which, as they would be, are identical to the port side. If we continued down the gangway, we would end up back in the eating and the galley area. Oh, I forgot to mention that at midpoint is the main entrance, which is accessible from the port or starboard gangway. On the bulkhead in the starboard gangway is the main power panel, which, as you can see, provides complete access to the power system on the boat. And as we continue down the hallway, we come again to the eating and galley area. And I'd just like to take a moment to point out that there is also plenty of extra storage space above the settees. As you can see, the sliding doors come open and you can store much more stuff. It really is quite a phenomenal boat. The engine for the Christine is a 250 horsepower turbocharged Cummins diesel with a Borg-Warner transmission. Together they push the Christine 10 knots using 7 gallons of fuel per hour, or cruise at 8 knots and only burning 5 gallons per hour. You have full access to the front and both sides of the engine. The fuel is kept clean by using 2 Racor filters that pass the fuel from the main tank located in the keel to a day tank. Full access allows maintenance on such things as the heat exchanger or the transmission cooler. The transmission output shaft uses a U-joint coupler to connect to a Morse chain drive unit. This unit terminates 3 feet below into the keel. This in turn drives a 2-inch shaft that turns a Martech folding propeller. When underway or at anchor, the Northern Lights 5,000 watt generator supplies all the necessary 110 electricity to make life comfortable and power the computerized charging system for the 3 separate banks of deep cell batteries. As you can see, access to the Marine Tech Watermaker filters is excellent. Also, you may have access to the electrical panel. If you need to work on the Watermaker motor, it is accessible and not hidden in some difficult to reach spot. One last thing I would like to show you is that the mast terminates in the forward shower. Any rain or green water that penetrates the structure through the halyard or shiv slots of the extension is being expelled through the shower sump. I want to emphasize how meticulous the owner was when he constructed Christine. The craftsmanship excels, from bulkheads finished with varnished epoxy-coated tongue and groove veneer to the cabin sole constructed from scarfed and laminated oak. Well, here we are, back where we started, heading back up the entrance. Before we end this virtual tour, there is one last item to show. Christine has a 130-foot aluminum mast which is held in place by rod rigging that was custom designed by Navtech engineers. With this sailing rig, Christine has sailed downwind faster than 26 knots. This yacht can be yours by contacting Bitter in Yacht Sales at 866-483-7071.